Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Food School and Angela, we're still in Rome and really enjoying it. I really enjoy the spaciousness and the grand size and epicness of everything. I'm not even sure that epicness is the word, but that's how it feels. So much space, so much history, and usually I do not really enjoy like ruins or architecture or leftovers of some ancient buildings. But in Rome, it feels different. Like it feels so real. Like you can imagine yourself living in the times of Roman emperors and Roman Empire. Those big, huge architectural remainings of ancient Rome, they feel really natural here, and just makes you feel really inspired, makes you want to think bigger and dream bigger and set bigger goals and go and conquer the world and just bigger things, how they did in Rome. So it's just really amazing. And also one thing I've realized today that I really love about Italy and Italian people, Italian culture, is that they're real. They love real thing. And when it comes to nutrition, they love everything real, full fat, if it's prosciutto crudo or a cured ham that one of the things that Italy is famous for, it's a real thing. They're not trying to trim the fat. No, the fattier the better. That's where all the fat soluble vitamins and a lot of nutrition that we humans need too, and that's where animals store them too. Olives and olive oil and cheeses and everything is real, and vegetables and fruits. They're not trying to maximize the volume. No, they're trying to maximize the flavor, the quality, the taste. It feels so real, and it goes to people too. When you eat real food, rich foods in nutrients and everything your body might need that we still don't have no idea about, when you eat that kind of food, it transfers into your personality. You become richer, you become fuller, you just feel more alive. And that's how Italy feels, and that's how Italians are. And I believe a huge part of it is what they eat. They eat real foods that contain full spectrum of all the vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals and zoochemicals and all the nutrients and things that we probably have no idea about. Like our nutrition science is really young, and I love Italy and Italians for that love of real thing. And today, guys, we are going to explore local food markets. I wanted to do an video episode on my Instagram and YouTube about some restaurant in Italy, but then I realized that's not where real food is, and that's not really, it doesn't feel like exploring anything to me. It kind of like boring. You sit and everything is served to you, and you don't even have the capacity or the opportunity to choose to try to engage with life there. You just sit there. So I decided to do what I actually love doing the most: explore the culture, explore food culture, and go to where real food is, to food markets. So that's what we are doing today in Rome. So stay tuned on my more visual social media for those episodes. I'm gonna try some really fatty stuff because I'm missing my fat soluble vitamins, my A, my D3, my K2, and all the richness of nutrition that comes with it. So yeah, we are going food shopping in a local food market that I still have to find actually today. But besides that, today's topic is low carbohydrate and high fat diets, and why you might consider one of those diets, and what to think about and take care of and check with yourself or your healthcare provider before going full in with low carbohydrate and high fat diets. Well, why would you want to consider going low carb and high fat in the first place? It's actually been proven, guys, that your mitochondria, or energy producing plants of your cells, that each cell has a lot of, and especially the most vital muscle in your body, your heart, requires a lot of those mitochondria, and that's where you have the most of them, because your heart is the strongest muscle that needs to pump blood, and without which, well, you die. So if your mitochondria does not function well, then your heart not going to function well. And the most deaths in the world happen because of heart disease, and I believe that's because the nutrition is so poor for our heart. And that's why you need to take care of that mitochondria to make it run as efficiently and effectively as possible without running the dirty fuel. And that's why you want to consider low carb or high fat diet, guys. It's not talked widely yet, but it is proven by nutritionists that when your mitochondria runs on carbs, it produces a lot of reactive species, or basically oxidants, that damage your cells, that damage your DNA, and that make your mitochondria be less effective, less efficient, and actually damage yourself. So it runs on carbs, you get the energy, but you also destroy a lot of your energy producing plants, and also destroy your cells, and you age faster. And also even athletes who consume high carb diet and they do not get fat or anything, and they use all of those sugars, they still get diabetes, they get pre-diabetic, they get a lot of arthritis, a lot of inflammation in their body. And that's why a lot of professional athletes actually are not really that healthy. But that's not so much because they train so much, but because of what they put in their body. And one of the things that they put a lot in their body is carbs, not just in the form of food, but also, all sorts of gels and supplements. And the thing is, running on carbs, it's like having a plant or a factory that produces a lot of waste, that releases a lot of waste in the environment, contributing to greenhouse effect and a lot of CO2 in our atmosphere. So that's what it means for your mitochondria and your cells to run on sugars. Yeah, you get all the energy you need, but you also pollute everything and make yourself age faster and not function properly. And also that correlates with the amount of energy you have every day, and energy fatigue that you might feel. And a lot of people feel fatigued and low on energy, and that's why they're not feeling like they can do a lot, like they can pursue their goals or change the world. When you don't have a lot of energy, your brain automatically makes you do things that save energy, and those things do not include audacious goals, guys, and motivation. So if you run on carbs, if you're on high carb diet, and anything when your body cannot efficiently burn fats is considered to be really high carb. So even if you consume more than like 70 grams of carbs for most people, I'm not talking about professional athletes here, then you're probably consuming too much of carbohydrates already, and that does not allow your body to utilize fats properly. So that's why you want to consider low carb, high fat diet, to have a strong heart, to have strong cardiovascular system to prevent any sorts of heart disease that is actually number one cause for death in the world, to run on cleaner fuel and prevent premature aging, and also to make your mitochondria energy producing plants of your cells run efficiently, and to have more energy and to be more and do more, wanting to do more. That's why you want to consider high carb diet and more or high fat, low carb diet. And more research just confirming that. And even Heart Association does not, I've heard about a friend of mine who's a nutritionist also. He's checking American Heart Association website all the time, and he said they are slowly removing all the high carb, low fat recommendations and all the low fat foods, and they had some sort of menu for high carb, low-fat diet on their website, and now they don't anymore because more and more research shows that actually might contribute to heart disease, not eliminate that. So, what do you know? But I suggest you to take actions faster than American Heart Association that might have killed with their guidelines quite a lot of people who have no other sources of information than associations like American Heart Association or similar health organizations somewhere else in the world. So that's why you might consider lowering your carbs and bringing your healthy fats from whole foods, animal foods, and plant foods. That's why you might want to consider to bring fat in and lower the carbs. And that's brings me to the next point. You cannot just eat a lot of fat and expect yourself to be healthy. No, you need to bring carbs down at the same time. Otherwise, it's going to be a metabolic disaster and your body actually will not be able to utilize all the fats. In nature, the foods are either high fat or high carb. Those two things, high fat and high carb, do not come together in nature. That kind of deadly combo you only get in processed foods. And in our era of abundance of food where you can, eat high fat and high carb, even from natural foods, it's still not going to work. You got to have high fat and low carb for maximum health. You cannot go high fat and high carb for your body to be able to utilize fat for energy, but also to be able to utilize essential for life fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A that doesn't come from carrots. By the way, there's another form of vitamin A that is not what our human body actually needs for life. Then vitamin D3, and that is also not the one that is found in fortified foods, but only in animal foods, or you can get it from the sun, of course. And then vitamin K2, that is considered to be an activator of your calcium, of your vitamin D3 and your vitamin A. And vitamin K2 is pretty rare nutrient if you don't consume things like goose liver or egg yolks from pastured animals, or fatty cuts of meat, or something exotic, something as exotic as MO oil. That is the best source for vitamin A, for vitamin D, for vitamin K2. So if you have access or you can purchase MO oil, then do so. So guys, high carb and high fat doesn't work. It's actually gonna increase your mortality risk and might cause death, literally. So do not do that. If you decide to go low carb, if you decide to go high fat, then your carbs gotta go low, even from healthy foods, even from fruits. So consider that. But before going low carb and high fat, guys, you need to also understand that your digestive system gotta work properly. Like I personally had problems, especially when I was a kid, this pain in your right side, somewhere under your ribs, you might feel, or feeling bloated, or having a lot of gut issues and autoimmune issues related to your gut issues. All of that will prevent you from utilizing fat properly, from utilizing your food properly, and it can cause a lot of nutrient malabsorption, basically not being able to absorb nutrients from your food, those fat-soluble vitamins or any kind of nutrition really. It also might lead, and a lot of times it does lead to all sorts of leaky gut kinds of syndromes, and that will lead to inflammation, to a lot of autoimmune issues, to hormonal issues. It's going to also keep your brain inflamed, and that's the last thing you want to do if you are interested in living a healthy, long, productive, happy life. So I'm talking about all of this because there are two things that you need to pay attention to, and you need to help yourself to adjust or healthify before going high fat and low carb. Well, first of all, you gotta have good quality you gotta have good quality stomach acid. And I myself had an issue with that. My stomach acid was quite weak, and it's still not as strong as I want it to be. And I know that because when I consume certain foods, you get either some problems with your regularity, or you just feel bloated or something else. But that doesn't happen often when I know what to do. When with each meal, for example, I consume my garlic or onions that help your body to produce, and ginger that help your body to produce more stomach acid. And also I combine my foods well, so my stomach has the ability to release the proper amount of stomach acid. So guys, if you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling like you're really stuffed, if you're burping, if you're having this acid reflux, if your digestion is never feels like it perfect, then you might have issues with your stomach acid, and that will not allow you to utilize any kinds of food properly really, but also your fats, and to absorb your fat-soluble vitamins properly. So what you want to do if you're having that, bloating, burping, acid reflux, all sorts of gut issues and possibly autoimmune issues, you want to increase the amount of stomach acid that your body produces. You want to help your body to produce more, or at least add to that to help your body to digest your food properly and avoid all these other digestive issues that prevent you from absorbing nutrition properly from your foods. So I'm going to link in the show notes really simple supplement that's basically the stuff that is similar to your stomach acid that helps you to digest food. You need to take it with food to help your body to break down the foods with your stomach acid. And also each meal consume ginger. That's the practice you gotta do each and every meal. And you gotta also, I recommend to journal, because you need to feel the difference in order to continue doing that, to motivate yourself to do that. You need to actually feel the difference when you don't have in your meals that supplement for stomach acid and ginger, and when you do have them. You gotta really feel the difference to understand whether that was the issue and whether that works for you. So I would suggest trying ginger and that supplement for a couple of days and see how you digest food, and how regular you are and what kind of regularity that is. And then go a day without it and see the difference. Try to have the same kind of diet. Then the second thing is your gallbladder. That is super, super important for digestion of your fats. And guys, let me read you something about gallbladder. So gallbladder, its main purpose is to collect, hold, and dispense the bile from the liver, which allows for the proper emulsification, digestion, and absorption of dietary fats and fat-soluble nutrients. Bile also works to emulsify or make water soluble, spend hormones and other substances so they readily move safely out of the body with bowel movements. Note, whether you feel aching or pain under the right side of your rib cage following meals, this could be a problematic sign that should be checked out for a qualified healthcare professional. If left unchecked and unaddressed for too long, the gallbladder itself can become infected or the bile duct blocked to the point where immediate surgery becomes necessary. So basically, guys, if your gallbladder is compromised and not working properly, that might be caused, by the way, by being on a low-fat diet or just having a compromised diet for quite some time. So if you have any sorts of problems with your gallbladder, and that, you might know about that by the pain in your right side, but also when you consume a high-fat meal, it kind of like liquidy or sticky, your stool and your bowel movements. So that means that you're probably not really digesting your fats how you're supposed to digest them. So, and when your gallbladder does not work properly, you're not able to digest, to assimilate fats and fat soluble vitamins. And if you go on a high fat diet, you're probably not going to feel that great, guys. And that might be a real issue for you to get all the benefits from high fat, low carb diets. So, and you cannot just jump fully into that with that kind of problem and expect your body to just, heal overnight or restore all the damage that you might have done with years of low-fat dieting or just poor dieting. So what you can do for your gallbladder problem, again, some signs might be the pain in your right side under your ribs somewhere, and just weird bowel movements, fatty bowel movements after high-fat meals. So what you can do to improve and help your gallbladder issues is to, again, eating ginger with each and every meal, then consuming or supplementing your foods, each of your meal with that betaine HCl. That's the supplement, the name of the supplement that is used to increase and improve your stomach acid production and digestion of your food. And the same supplement helps with the gallbladder function. So I'm going to link it in the show notes, as I mentioned, and you just will need to take one of those tablets. Sometimes you'll need to take two, depends on your digestive system actually, but start with one, then try two and see how it works for you. So that supplement, ginger. Then you need to consume foods high in EPA and DHA and do supplement with, I would suggest 2-3 grams, guys, of EPA plus DHA combined. Not just fish oil, but actually look at the label and make sure that you're consuming 2-3 grams of EPA plus DHA combined, not just fat, because there are going to be, the label might say 1 gram or 2 grams of fish oil, but look at the label more carefully and see how much of actual DHA and EPA you are getting in that supplement. And that's the number that is important to us, and it needs to go as high as 2-3 grams for you guys if you have gallbladder, stomach acid issues, and any kind of issues with inflammation, really. Then garlic and onions at each meal. That should be easy. Know how to properly use your garlic, by the way, guys. You need to crush it and wait for 10 minutes and only then cook with it or eat it. That's how you get the health benefits from garlic. Onions, you can cook with it. I eat onions with almost each of my meal when I cook myself. So eat a lot of onions, a lot of garlics with each of your meal. Ginger, as I mentioned before, EPA, DHA, and then the supplement that I'm going to link in the show notes. So those are the things that you must use in order for you to help your digestive system to start actually digesting things properly. And again, if you're switching to high fat, low carb diet, you need to have a well working digestive system. Well, you need it for any kind of diet, but if you wonder why you might not feel that great as people promise to you, it might has to do very well and probably with your digestive system. So those are the things that you might want to do to increase your stomach acid efficiency and to improve the function of your gallbladder. That is super important for your fat digestion and assimilation of fat soluble vitamins. And then also, guys, realize that your proper fat metabolism, it's not going to switch to efficiently using fats for fuel your body not going to switch overnight from high carbohydrate diet and using mostly carbs for fuel. Usually for people it takes 3 to 6 weeks. Sometimes it takes longer. Depends again on your health, on the health of your digestive system, on the health of your metabolism, also how active you are, how old you are, on a lot of things. So you cannot really put an exact number of it, but it will take some time. So make sure you understand that. And when you go low carb and high fat, just realize that you're not gonna ace it from the day one. Sometimes it happens, again, depending how old you are. Kids, the younger you are usually, the easier it is. And if you were consuming moderate carbohydrate or a pretty healthy diet, that also should be easier for you to transition. That should make it easier for you to transition. And then also another thing, guys, understand that if you have any kind of diabetes, or if you're pre-diabetic, if you're taking any sorts of medication for diabetes or diabetes-like symptoms, maybe metabolic disease, understand that you need to be careful from switching from high carbohydrate diet to high fat diet, and dealing with your medication, because your body's blood sugar metabolism and insulin release that is really vital for you. You can actually die if you disbalance that, if you disturb that balance of insulin release and blood sugar levels in your blood. If it's already compromised because of your previous poor lifestyle, your diet, and you're already on some medication, make sure to check with your healthcare provider that you're going on this diet, and you might need to monitor your blood sugar and your insulin levels. So you need to work with a professional. You cannot do it by yourself and with medication, and then getting off medications and just switching to a healthier lifestyle. You can die, guys. If you have that condition, being pre-diabetic, having some kind of diabetes, type 1 or type 2, or if you have a metabolic disease, that is really dangerous to just jump into that without any thinking, without any proper design of your program, and without working with a professional who knows how to deal with those issues. So make sure that you take that into account. And that's it for today, guys. That was my main message. To recap, if you are interested in being an efficient and effective human being and prevent premature aging, and also have the least amount of possible degenerative diseases, cancers, arthritis, all sorts of inflammation-related issues, if you're interested in being the healthiest, you really should consider lowering your carbs, even from natural foods, just because probably our body was not designed to consume high carbohydrate diet. And it seems from all the data that high carbohydrate diets do not work for longevity. And again, it's like making your cells and your mitochondria, energy producing plants of your cells, to run on dirty fuel that gives you energy at the moment, but also produces a lot of garbage, and that harms your body, yourself in the long term. And especially for heart health, guys, no, you do not need to lower your fat. You actually need to lower your carbs, especially processed carbs, and go on a high fat diet, but not forgetting to take care of your digestive system. And specifically today we talked about helping your body to produce and use your stomach acid more efficiently using ginger and the supplement that I mentioned, and I'm going to link in the show notes. Then helping your gallbladder to work properly, because that's the key organ. I mean, all of your organs are key organs, really. You are a system. You're not one thing, one organ. So you cannot take care of one and then forgetting at the same time about the others, and that's what actually a lot of medications do. They might help with the symptoms or the work of a certain organ or certain system in your body, but then they might ruin a lot of other systems that are also essential for your long-term health in the process of doing that. So we are not doing that. We are taking care of you as a whole system, all of the organs working together. So anyway, gallbladder, it helps you. It makes it possible for digestion of your fats and fat-soluble vitamins. So to improve the function of your gallbladder that might very well be compromised if you've been on a high-carb diet, on a low-fat diet, or in just poor diet. So consume again ginger, that supplement that is linked in the show notes, EPA, DHA, 2-3 grams combined from eating of fatty fish, sardines, salmon, mackerel, herring are amazing. Whole foods are always the best because, again, there are so many nutrients in whole foods that we have no idea about, and they make the fatty acids and other nutrients work better when they are also in a system working synergistically together. We are not just like a human body is not one thing, it's a system. So whole food is also a system, and we don't really know how it all works. So whole foods are always better. So what it means is probably you want to consume 4 to 6 ounces of fatty fish at least. I always go for more with fatty fish. So 2-3 grams of 2-3 grams of EPA plus DHA combined. Take some supplement also to increase the amount of omega-3 fatty acids, but then eat fatty fish, 4 to 6 ounces or 150 grams, something like that a day. Consume your ginger, consume your garlic and onions. We are talking about gallbladder function right now. Garlic, onions, ginger, every single meal. And remember that it will take time, guys, to transition. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out, guys. If I don't have an answer, I will either do a research for you, because it helps me also to learn more and to help people better. So feel free to reach out. Angela@createyourself.today is my email. And guys, go for whole foods all the time. Supplements is not the real deal, as we talked about today. If you want to really, really maximize your health and energy levels and vitality and productivity, go for whole foods. Go for real food. It's no coincidence, guys, that among cultures, fat is considered to be fat from whole foods, from fatty animals, is considered to be the most valuable food, the most richest foods. In ancient cultures, guys, you might not know that, but people would go and would seek out livers and brains and hearts and other organ meats, and they would eat muscle meat, what we consider to be the best. They would consider it kind of like throw out meat. They would feed it to other animals, and they would only eat it when there was not sufficient amount of organ meats and fats from the animals. Back then, they noticed, they learned from their experience that people who eat a lot of fatty parts of animals, organ meats, have the most robust health. But what is really cool about our modern world, in most cultures right now, they actually started to, you go to a store and the steak is more expensive than, let's say, chicken livers, right? Much more expensive. That's why I love it, because it's kind of cheap to eat the healthiest part of the animals right now. And also that's what we're going to do today, to explore Italian food markets and see how they value their fattier cuts, their organ meats, and what kind of organ meats I will be able to find in Italian market. I'm super pumped about that, and because I'm also really, really craving my fats and fat-soluble vitamins and organ meats. So anyway, that's about it, guys. Reach out for more information. And tomorrow, guys, we will be discussing one of the best books on the subject of becoming a fat burner, effective, efficient, and healthy. So we're going to be doing the recap practical takeaways from one of the best books on the subject of how to become again that efficient and effective fat burner. So the book is Primal Fat Burner. It's also going to be linked in the show notes, by the way. Live longer, slow aging, superpower your brain, and save your life with a high-fat, low-carb paleo diet. So long name, but guys, it's worth it. And we're gonna talk about what foods to eat, what foods not to eat, what to add to your diet to improve your digestion, and how to transition the best way. Also, we're gonna talk about some lifestyle factors like your stress management. So it's gonna be cool and super interesting and super practical. And also I'll share with you some of my excitement and takeaways and discoveries from my journey to a food market in Rome, in Italy today. So stay tuned for that. Think about lowering your carbohydrates. Check out the supplement in the links in the show notes. Check out the book, and I highly suggest you to get it if you're interested, and you should be interested in switching to a healthy, high-fat, low-carb diet. That's it for today, guys. I am grateful for you being here, listening to me, and I just really wish you to take action, to take more action that's going to improve your life. And even if you don't think you might be able, or you might want to do high-fat, low-carb diet for a lifetime, just try it. Give it a try for probably 6 weeks, or at least a month would be a great time frame for you to start experiencing some benefits. So consider that and treat it as an experiment. See how you do and how you feel. And if you want to continue your journey, increasing the amount of energy and health you have, or you want to switch to something different. Life is an experiment, so take yours. Thank you for tuning in. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.